Okay, welcome everybody to lesson 15. Today we're going to go through some of the basic music theory behind what makes up a chord or triad. So what makes up a triad? If you think of tri, there are three different notes that would make up a triad. These are the root, the note that is an interval of a third above the root, and the note that is the interval of a fifth above the root. As we learned from the previous lesson in this series, the number only gives us the generic interval. However, other subcategories are major, minor, augmented, diminished, and perfect. The type of chord or triad formed depends on the arrangement of the specific type of intervals that make up that chord. First, let's look at the major triad or chord. It is composed of the root, which is the bottom note, the note that is the interval of a major third above the root, and the note that is an interval of a perfect fifth above the root. To learn how to figure out these specific intervals, I would invite you to check out lesson 14 on intervals. An alternative way of thinking about the major triad is to think of it as a major third and a minor third stacked up on top of each other. The intervals between the root and the next note is a major third, and the interval between the second note and the third note is a minor third. Here is an example of a major triad. This is the G major triad. As you can see here, the bottom note, G, is what we would call the root. B, the second note, is a major third above the root. And D, which is the third note, is a perfect fifth of an interval above the root, making it a major triad. Now on to minor chords or triads. Again, we have a root, which is the bottom note, the note that is the interval of a minor third above the root, and the note that is an interval of a perfect fifth above the root. An alternative way of thinking about how to construct the minor chords is to think of it as a minor third followed by a major third, the major third occurring between the second and third note. To look at an example of this, we have a G minor triad. Again, the root note being G. In this instance, the third is a minor third, and the third note is a perfect fifth above the root, making it a minor triad. So G to B flat is the minor third, and G to D would be the perfect fifth. Now let's look at augmented chords. We have the root, followed by a major third, followed by an augmented fifth. So the interval between the root and the third note is that of an augmented fifth. Another way of thinking about this triad is a major third stacked up on top of another major third. So the distance between the root and the second note is a major third, and the second note to the third note also a major third. Some people may find this an easier way to construct chords. However, it is entirely up to you. Here we have an augmented triad. Again, the root note is a G. We don't have the treble clef on this screen. However, it is a continuation of the bars seen in earlier slides. The second note is a B, which is a major third above the root, which is a G. And the third note is a D sharp, making it an interval of an augmented fifth from the root, thus constructing an augmented triad. Now we're going to look at what makes up a diminished chord or triad. First we have the root, which is the bottom note, followed by a note which is a minor third of an interval above the root, followed by a note that is a diminished fifth above the root. Another way of thinking how to construct a diminished triad is to think of it as a minor third between the root and the second note, and another minor third between the second and third note. Let's look at an example of this now. Again, we have the root being G. The second note is a B flat, making it an interval of a minor third above G. And the third note is a diminished fifth above G. G to D flat would be a diminished fifth. Again, if you'd like to know why this is, I'd invite you to check out lesson 14. So that is it for lesson 15, a brief introduction into chords and triads. If you have any questions on what is covered so far, please do let me know, and I will make sure to cover it in the next video. See you guys soon.